So Nintendo just dropped a pretty beefy update for the original Nintendo Switch system, and I've got a separate video going over a lot of what was updated and what changed. But it seems that there is one change, or rather, a couple of small changes to the eShop. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up, but you could argue that Nintendo, against all odds, has improved the eShop somewhat. a little bit. Again, don't get your hopes up if you haven't heard already, but yeah, you could call this an improvement. As we all know, the eShop has some problems, and one of the biggest problems is shovelware. Just garbage nonsense, absolutely flooding the entire platform, and it's terrible and it's awful, and it makes it harder and harder to actually find good, not even just good games, actual games, like real video games that literally any person anywhere might want to play. That's what we're looking for. And the problem is that the eShop previously gave better discoverability to games that had sold a lot of individual units. In the charts section, it prioritized titles by most downloads for the past 2 weeks. So basically, at any point in the last 2 weeks, whatever games got downloaded the most. Now, the problem with this is that a lot of shovelware publishers kind of game the system by giving their games really high prices and then putting them like ridiculously, 99 point something percent on sale. So this like $30 game is now like 10 cents. And see, I still don't quite get it, because I don't actually know why there are that many people willing to buy garbage. Even if it is only 10 cents, I would pay 10 cents to not have this game in my library on my Switch associated with my account in any way. I don't understand it, but somehow it has been working. It has been working. There are enough people to buy these games for a few cents each that it has had a really big impact on the eShop charts. It means that these shovelware games float to the top because they are getting downloaded a great number of times. But now Nintendo has changed this system. It is pretty subtle, but it is a change. Now it prioritizes games based on highest sales for the past 3 days. So they've shrunk the frame of time to 3 days rather than 2 weeks, which is probably a good idea because if you can successfully game the system, then you're just, I guess you're there for 2 weeks. Now it's like, nah, you got to do something good in 3 days. And now titles are not being gifted better discoverability. They're not rising to the top based on the number of downloads, but on the amount of money that they generate, the highest sales. And this means that if a game is selling a weird number of units because it's only a penny, I still don't even know what the business strategy is there. You're not even making any money. I don't get it, but whatever. So games that are being sold for a penny, well, it doesn't matter if they sell 1,000 copies. That's not very much money at all. It means that real games selling real amounts of money, those are now floating to the top instead of these other ones. So it is an improvement in a way. It is really absolutely not a perfect fix at all, because it means that naturally games that cost more are now being prioritized. So much smaller indie games that don't cost as much money, well, those are the ones that need the discoverability more than anything, but they're not really getting it now. Now the charts, it's really a lot of the same games. And of course, this means that retail games are pretty much all at the top, because a game that's like $60 or whatever, like obviously that's going to rise to the top. You can still help it by keying over to the download only tab or whatever, then you're going to get download only games, not retail ones, so that does help. But yeah, basically, in a way, this is an improvement to the eShop, and it's really not a big one, and it is not perfect, but it is something. it is something. I'm trying to look at this positively. It's good that Nintendo has made a change at all. And you know what? That's not actually the only change. It seems that there's changes to the current offers page. Basically just games that are on sale. I feel like previously this was also just based on sales in some way. I haven't had a chance to really explore this a lot myself, but it seems that it could just be a little bit more random now. Possibly at least slightly randomized. Not sure exactly what they changed, but yeah, it just seems there's a little bit less shovelware. And in fact, John on GVG did a really great video, much better than the video that you are watching right now. So go to the description and watch his video instead, because he said by coincidence, he happened to record himself on the eShop like a few days before the change. So he's got a really great comparison. You can see like a direct comparison, pre-change and post-change, what titles rise to the top. So yeah, go watch that instead of this. But yeah, so I think it's good. Even if this is not a big change, I do like to see Nintendo making a change at all. I think that there's a fine chance that the eShop is going to get a pretty decent shakeup over on Switch 2. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up. Maybe it will be mostly the same on Switch 2. I know we had a little bit of a glimpse of what the eShop would look like around the time of the Direct, but that was mostly about like the layout and stuff. As far as like the actual, the ways that the content is sorted, that really is the biggest issue. Just like raw discoverability and what Nintendo is or isn't doing about the shovelware, that's the biggest problem. And so we don't know how much might change when we swap over to the Switch 2 eShop. But I at least like that they're making changes now on the original Switch, just because, like, I don't know, it shows that they're thinking. It shows that they're trying. It shows that they are interested in making any changes at all. And of course, the Switch 2 does not automatically replace the Switch forever when it comes out. Like, there's still a whole lot of Switches out there, a whole lot of people who are going to be playing their Switches and buying things from the eShop for a while. So I don't know if this is a thing where we can expect Nintendo to continue to improve the eShop, or perhaps they'll improve the Switch 2 eShop, and then some of those changes will be reflected in the original Switch eShop. Still really don't know how any of it is going to work. Still very, very, very curious to see what they're going to do about like the entire pre-existing library. I just don't know. But hey, it's good that they're doing literally anything because previously it's been a whole lot of not much as far as this whole e-slop issue is going. So, see, it really just kind of seems like it's only been getting worse. So I'll take a win. I'll take a win of any kind and any size. You know, if anyone working at Nintendo is listening to this right now, you know, I've got some free advice. This just popped into my head. So take it or leave it. Could be a stupid idea. But like, what if you establish some sort of system so that they can't put the bad games on the eShop in the first place? You know? Just like, you could just like, if a game is literally completely worthless, not a single human being on this planet would want to play it. If you don't let them put that on there, then you have solved the problem before it's a problem. Again, I don't know. I could just be whatever here. This could just be nonsense, but that's my idea. That's a free idea for you. You can take it if you want.